things all over the continent with these OICs. And on my way to Lesotho, which is a small kingdom in the southern region, around 1975, I had to pass through South Africa, and some black leaders and some labor leaders asked me if I wouldn't see if I could get the companies from America to become a force for change in that country that had never been tried. At that time, a black man didn't even have a status legally as a worker in the country. Black unions had no recognition at all. Everything was segregated totally. So I came back home and created what came to be known as the Sullivan principles, requirements on American companies in South Africa to stand up against apartheid regulations. And it began with the efforts in the workplace. Then I realized we had to do more than just the workplace. We had to challenge the government outside the workplace for freedom, for full economic, social, and political freedom. And that's where the principles have led the companies at this time. They become a catalyst for companies from around the world. Those principles have done more to change conditions for black workers in the workplace than the United Nations and all the governments of the world put together, those little principles. But now, and education was a vital part of it, because unless you can educate our black brothers and sisters by the tens of thousands and in time the millions, why they will not be able to take over the opportunities of the nation that will inevitably come.
So you've got a commitment, Reverend Sullivan, not only to blacks in America, but your commitment is worldwide in terms of uplifting the black population throughout the world.
I want to see people trained, I want to see them fed, and I want to see black people stand on their feet. I want them to realize that anything a white man does, they can do it and do it better. That black men were born at the point of this earth with balanced minds. They are a great people. I am a part of a great, proud heritage. And I want every black man in the world to know he's somebody, and to be proud and free, and to develop that mind and develop that hand and go out and seize hold of his world.
Well, now, we have so many problems, Reverend Sullivan, as you undoubtedly know, in terms of education today. We've got a situation well, across the nation, as well as in Nashville, and undoubtedly in Philadelphia, too, where we've got 50% of our youngsters dropping out of high school. We've got a tremendous incarcerated problem. Indeed, we've got an illiteracy problem that's almost astounding, et cetera. What would your suggestions be in terms of dealing with this kind of problem? Certainly, OIC has made tremendous impact.
Yes, well, first, you need to do everything you can to support that OIC, because that is the base that many of us have to move from in America. It is the largest self-help program we have doing this kind of thing, and we ought to support the OIC here. It's on the Fisk campus, and take advantage of it with its programs, and I think they're going to even open up some evening programs to upgrade training for people who want to improve their skills, who are working on jobs and want to move ahead, as well as those who have no jobs, because the hardcore unemployed are the people I'm hoping to help most of all. But we have to, in every aspect of our experience, put education as the main theme on our family agendas. After faith in God, it must be education of our minds. Because if we don't start with them when they're young, as the Jewish community does, then in this technological age in which we are moving, they're going to find themselves further and further behind. More and more young people unemployed, more and more young people on relief, and more problems for our people in America and in our cities. And so we have to work with the public education program, schools, to require that they work. We have to realize that every program of education out there is something we should benefit ourselves from to the utmost of our abilities to do so. We must tell our young people they got to do more than break dance and a applaud them for breakdancing. We must applaud them for excellence and for moving ahead in their training. Now, I played basketball. I was a pretty good basketball player, and played football, so I know the importance of sports. I wouldn't have been able to go to college without sports. I went on scholarships. I didn't have any money, so I had to get out and play basketball and football. But your education is more important even than making a basket or catching a pass. Because when the day comes when you can't catch a pass or make a basket, you got to be able to work on a job. And if you don't have your education, brother, you're just not going to make it. So the emphasis of blacks in America, the new civil rights, the new civil rights. It can't be just black power. It's got to be also brain power and heart power. But brain power, use that brain. And that's where most of our emphasis must go these days for our race.
Now, what would you say about the role of the church in this kind of responsibility?
Well, the church should look anew at its responsibilities to the community. My wife started an adult program. She called it the Miniversity, and she used the church basement to train adults in basic skills. So that adults, in addition to Sunday school, can learn something about secular education also, how to live, the knowledge of what's going on in the world. And these courses were opened up in community halls and public housing community centers, and thousands of adults have been going to these programs that she opened in Philadelphia. And now more than 1,000 of them are going to colleges. The churches must open their doors for Christian education, but also for secular education. And our ministers must be teachers, our teachers. They are still our leaders, and they have to teach us the Word of God. They must also teach us how to live and teach us more about our world. And the people in the church, we need a renaissance in our church so that the church adapts itself to the everyday lives of people, because God doesn't just want us to have milk and